We've actually got seven windows on screen. We've almost got the Brady Bunch there, Todd.
I'm counting, Wazza. I'm counting.
You're counting. Good morning, lads. Here we are again. It's almost like looking like a Zoom class now, isn't it?
That's right.
G'day, Robert Mack from Asia. Robert Mack in Asia. We've also got Stewie from New. He'll probably join us on the chat. We'll get up to 8 then. We just need one more after that and we'll be good. So here we are, Saturday morning. I gotta love Thailand. G'day, how you going? I'm terrible with names. Was it David, wasn't it? Anyway. I need a list of all the conversion names, real people's names to freaking lists. It's just so hard. The Brady Bunch, yes, we'll start calling ourselves the Brady. Eric Whitefield, good day, how you doing, from Melbourne? Dave, that's it, God, I always got it wrong, but yeah. And of course, you're welcome to jump on as well, Dave, if you want to come on. I know you've got a cam there, so you're quite welcome to join us, if you can work at the Discord, that is. And who else have we got? From your perspective, we've got on the top left. We've got Bolt. We've got Bryce. We've got what's his name? Your brother's name? Kimbo. Yeah. That's right. Yep. Oggy. We got Scooter, Todd, and myself. And who else are going to turn up? We got Dex Nilo. He's a brother for another mother in the States somewhere. I can't remember where he's from. But I know he's dying to get over here. Who else we got? Niall. Good morning, Niall. We had a bit of fun last night. Went back to check out, visit Susie. She fed him. Dalo, g'day, Dalo, and San Francisco. That's the place. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is we'll try to have a subject as usual. How's the sounds? Let's do a sound check. How does everybody else says? Stop me talking.
I'm all here.
Talk. Yeah, all
all
here.
Good.
All good. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, all good here.
Yeah, tie me kangaroo down, Bruce.
Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Bruce, it's sport. Who did we just lose?
They call me Bruce.
Oh, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh, no, so that's Bryce. Not trying to...
Yeah.
Bolt. We lost Bolt for a second there. You just press the button. Sound working, Bolt?
Yep, I hear you fine.
Yeah, good. Okay. Robert, we're going to ask you a couple of questions, Rob, because we're... one of the things, is Thailand ready for what are we calling this show today? Is Thailand ready for tourism? That's our sort of underlying theme. Going to open up the whole idea of are we ready here? And we've got a few things already in the woodworks of things that are set to try people's patience. I think we're going to start with Todd and his little most recent thing this week. Go on, fill us in, Todd, of what's happened with you. Because Robert might be able to give you a hand with that one.
The OCD kicks in. It's just been the training and who I am, and I just thought things were lined up. Like I've got the flights organised, I've got the escape from Australia organised, I've got the ASQ organised, I've got my accommodation for my first month organised, and then on Monday morning I get an email saying my flights have been cancelled. Because Australia is still pretty hard to get out of. We're not in the Northern Hemisphere, so flights aren't all that great. So I go ahead and try and book some more flights because I've got to land into Thailand on the 18th because everything else is all booked and organised. And the flights that I can get don't leave Adelaide. They've got to be connected from another capital city in Australia. And through a third-party travel agency, I've booked the flights. And now through this third-party travel agency, I can't get additional baggage. So I'm trying to get my life together to fly over to Thailand and keep everything in sync. And at the moment, I can only fly with 25 kilos. So what do? And Wazza's come up with an idea going, okay, well, you can send stuff to me early. I can do that. Or I can just go ape shit when I get to the airport on the 18th and hopefully I can get additional baggage. But I just want 1 week, Wazza. Even half a week, 3 days where I can just sit here and go, okay, things are running smoothly. With all the shit I went through with my escape from Alcatraz exemption, all the issues I went through with trying to get the visa organised and everything, and because if people aren't sort of up to date with the story, I was originally going to go over with a education visa. I sort of locked into the Chiang Mai University for a visa into Thai language. It was proper University of Chiang Mai. Then their faculty was closed down because of COVID. So I've had to go around and around and around. And I just want 3 days where I can just sit here and go, all right, I'm coming over to see my friends over in Thailand, do my study, do my immersion into the culture, which I've done previously with Japan and a few other countries. And no, the world just doesn't want to let me have 3 days where I can go, I can sit here and think things are happening properly, but no. So ringing the travel agency, they can't do it because I have to go direct to 2 airlines. And because it's booked under one airline using a marketing to the other airline as a third-party sector, they can't use each other's booking systems, so neither one can book the other for baggage. So go figure.
Anyway, so
as of today,
Dallo has put forward an interesting sort of comment there that I think we really need some interaction. Has anybody ever seen Todd Austin and Don Burke in the same room?
I do not, Dallo, I do not have a green thumb at all. The only thing I can grow is weeds, and not the weed. And the guy that looks like me with the other beard, that is actually my younger brother, and he can testify that absolutely. I cannot grow a thing. The only thing that grows in my yard is the lawn because I mow it and that's it. But everywhere else around my house is weeds.
Are you telling me the fact that even bindies don't grow on your lawn?
No, they don't.
They don't.
No bindi.
No bindies. For those Americans who've got no idea what a bindi is, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, what the heck are they saying, man?
That's the crocodile hunter's daughter, isn't it?
I thought maybe it was dog crap.
What happened to Bryce's audio? Did you walk away from the microphone there, did you? Bindi is a weed that grows in your lovely couch lawn. Generally, I think bindis really just thrive in couch lawns, and they get these little crown heads of spiky things, and when you walk on the lawn, they stick in your feet, and they stick in every little nook and cranny of every little crease, and trying to get the damn barb out. Oh my God. And they spread through your lawn. Once you've got a patch of bindies, that's it. But the next year, it's all over the lawn because the dogs come through your yard and they tread them and spread them, and that's it. Your couch lawn is completely screwed after that. And the only way to get them out, there is a bindi spray, but you got to.
But the worst is 3-corner jacks. I don't know whether Americans have 3-corner jacks, but they're even worse. But no, I can't even grow them. The only colour I do get in my garden are daffodils, but I've been told daffodils are a weed as well. So,
is that right?
Yeah. But Oh, sour sobs, aren't they? Sour sobs or something like that? I don't know.
Well, actually, the sap from a daffodil is actually good medicinally. There's a number of different medicinal recipes you can use the sap for. So it's actually it's a herb.
You really have a bad case of the brown thumb if you kill plastic plants.
I've done that.
He's done that.
Sorry, Oggy. I've done that.
So have I. You
Done
leave them
that.
too close to the electric heater and they go...
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so Augie can
Yep.
kill plastic plants. Okay, right. Point taken.
Yeah. But there is a plan
Way to
B,
go,
a plan
Americans.
C.
Yeah, America.
There is a plan B, plan C, plan D. So come the 18th, I will be landing in Thailand. It's just that I want to relax for 2 or 3 days, but I don't think that's going to happen. Don't think that's going to happen at all.
You'll have plenty of time to relax when you're here.
He'll be like a Cuban refugee on an inflatable raft.
Don't, Oggy. Don't.
That might be a good idea.
Okay, now Scooter did ask a question on the Discord channel. Yesterday was it? Yesterday, yeah. Thailand reopening on Monday, November the 1st. Is that wide open or conditional? And I did go and write up a good answer there, but again, it's a long subject. The problem here we've got here in Thailand is like the left hand really doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and the rules are being made up daily. So we have got some overall rules happening. Here's a set of the rules. Let me just adjust screens here. Bring that over there.
So what you're saying is I can get through everything here in Australia, and then I've got to jump through more hoops when I get to Thailand because the rule changes every day.
Yes,
Oh, of
well,
course.
that's sort of the way. That's the way it is. Yeah. So there is this new travel pass which is being replaced in the COE, which was the certificate of entry. So this travel pass is a website supposedly set up to simplify the process. But if we've got any idea of how good websites are built here in Thailand, it's probably going to fall into the same boat as the 90-day check-in process and fall over every 5 days. So exactly how well this is going to run going forward, that is anybody's guess. But I don't want to diss them for that. Maybe they've got some decent engineers to write websites now. They haven't given me a call, so whether they've got somebody good or not, I don't know. Thailand Pass. Will be implemented replacing the certificate of entry from November the 1st. All visitors from 46 low-risk countries and territories, Thais and foreign residents who travel from countries on the list must stay one night in an SHA or alternative quarantine hotel to take a PCR test. So they was just said that one group was saying no quarantine at all, but there's quarantine. So the no quarantine situation is one camp's is saying there's no quarantine, but we will put you in a hotel for one night while we stick something up your nose and see if we can punch your cranium or your frontal lobe, and then maybe let you out in the morning if it comes back negative, or they fuck the test up or something like that. I don't know.
It's just a tickle of the temporal.
Is it?
I can actually clarify that a bit more. When they changed my quarantine hotel from 7 days to the 1 day, it's actually 2 nights. So even though it says a 1 day package, it's actually for 2 nights. So it's 3 days, 2 nights, and it comes under the title of 1 day.
Yeah. And it depends on what time you land as well. I think we went through this with David recently. I think if you land before 6 p.m, then that day is included as 1 day. But if you land after 6 p.m, then it becomes it's such a mind-blowing exercise. How anybody is going to make any sense of this shit, I really don't know. But
is Phuket, the airport for Phuket, different than Bangkok?
I think this is only my opinion from what I've read over the last week, it seems like the fact that every international airport destination is going to run a separate set of rules, depending on how they interpret the rules that have been laid out. And again, this is all to do with the way we just live here in Thailand. Every province, it's like America. Like you've got 50 states in America that all run differently to the federal government. You know, we have a very similar situation here in Thailand. We've got not so much a federal government. We've got the main governmental body. You know, I can't remember what the party name is. They make all the decisions for Thailand in general. And how many is it? 76 provinces. Bolt would know.
That's about right.
Yeah.
76, 77.
He's the expert on Thailand, not me. Got to have somebody in the know. And every province will operate a different set of rules depending on how they read them. And part of the problem is the fact that you've got your big wigs in government, and of course you've got your big wigs who run each province. And no, because of this thing called, look, this is what I put it down to, because of this situation of defamation and saving face and making face and losing face and all this sort of thing. You can't call somebody out if they've made a mistake in reading the documentation. And again, Bolt will probably attest this thing. You could read a Thai, a line in Thai script, and you could probably read it 10 different ways because this is the way the Thai language. That's
excuse me.
By design, is it? It is really a difficult language, and again, if depending on what school you went to.
Well, if you hook that up to the idea that your main point is, saving face, nobody. If you keep it vague enough, there's no way to really get it wrong.
Yeah.
So nobody loses face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of baked into how they write these things.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is what we.
When people are trying to build their plans and their lives around these documents, that's not something they really take into consideration, and it's maddening and infuriating for just regular folks trying to navigate it. But as far as they're concerned, they're covered because they used a lot of words to say very little.
Yeah, and us
It sounds like a government policy to me.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
trying to learn the language is just as hard, you know. So,
Yeah. I just asked about the Phuket because a friend of mine, she flew in from England and flew into Phuket, and she's already back home with her family, her husband, and her, that kind of stuff. And
it's probably a little easier to go in and out of Phuket right now because they've been doing the sandbox thing for a while.
yeah.
And they probably got more practice. They're used to people. They're used to the procedure already over there. So that might be why it was less hassle.
But it shouldn't.
Yeah,
Look, technically, it shouldn't be a problem. But this is what we're facing: is just the interpretation of these rules, right? And how everybody sort of gravitates towards the common good, the common goal. And as I said, you just got to. There's a few channels, like I said. What's his name? There's a Facebook channel. Richard Barrow? He seems to be fairly well on top of everything, and that's what he really has been pushing for the last 6 months. Is he's trying to get out there and get the information out to people very quickly. He's on Facebook and he's on Twitter. Give him a bit of a shout out there. So Richard Barrow, I could find the page, but you can find it just put the search for it, you'll find it. But staying plugged into him, you'll get a fairly good information. I've also got a list on my Twitter feed. There's the Around Thailand list. If you go to my Twitter account, links in somewhere around there. There is a list I've got, and you just plug into that list. That'll give you everything that's coming out of Thailand that I thought was of value, and it also has some pretty girls in it. So it's sort of mixes the good with the bad,
it sells.
The pretty girls sell. Of course, I'm going to have to throw this one up on the screen now. Only Thailand. This is what we were doing last night. Where are we? So Only Thailand. Get that one there. Open. There we go. So we were out last night doing doing a thing with Triple X Bar. So Triple X Bar have launched this thing here called Hot Dogs and Hot Girls, or Hot Girls and Hot Dogs. I can't remember exactly the wording there, but so we were out there shooting an advert for them, and I happen to be the male model eyeing off the hot dog while these girls are, you know, I don't know whether they want the hot dog or the person holding the hot dog. It's pretty hard to tell, isn't it? But it was a lot of fun. We were there for about an hour and a half. I don't know why I got.
I'm sure from your attention to the hot dog, they realized that they better pay attention to the hot dog.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there last night. Go-Go Hopping will have that ad out probably in a week, and it'll get thrown around on different media channels. I'm actually going to meet the guy that runs that bar, and he runs half a dozen places in Patpong there. He also runs the museum, and we're organised to go and see him next Friday. We're going to get a special tour of the museum with the manager. He's also launching a new project out there, which is what they call what's being referred to as virtual Patpong. But we haven't got any more details on that yet, and I haven't actually seen the layup and seen the 3D graphics done. But it's something that we'll hopefully get a good an insight or an expose done on that one next week, which should be good for the channel as well. So, and of course we'll have some footage for it, and we may even have some footage for it already shot by Saturday morning for the live stream. Who knows? If I can actually get my finger out and do some work. Jen Best Desperado, g'day, how you doing? And I saw a few other names there. What was it? Joe78. What do also I missed? Travelling Man, haven't seen him from name for a while. And then Malcolm K. Good to have some of the regulars coming back again. I think that I don't know whether sort of YouTube really does the advertising and gets things out on time to everybody or what. It gets confusing. But yeah, getting back to things. Okay, so let's just drop that away and go there. The thing I was going to sort of highlight, which is something I've been reading about, and again, is to do with this elephant in the room sort of aspect with these decisions about getting people into Thailand. There's a big elephant in the room going on right now to do with the transient workforce. I'd like to use the word transient, but the transient workforce we're talking about here is not so much to do with Thai people. It's to do with the people that cross the borders. 20% are crossing legally and going through quarantine, and 80% are crossing illegally and finding themselves in work camps around Bangkok and other areas that are going through growth spurts. There's a lot of building and other sort of industries sort of developing because the price of the baht has dropped down, so they're trying to get more people in to make more product because it's good for exports and things like that. But a lot of these people are coming into Thailand unquarantined, unvaccinated, and so we're looking down the barrel of another lockdown probably within 2 to 3 months once they open the bars. There will be another influx of these illegal immigrants coming into the country to fill positions because all the girls have gone home. They're now working on rice fields and with the families up north and different areas around Thailand. They just don't up and move back to Thailand when the bars open. That's going to take 1 to 2 to 3 months for them to actually reorganise their lives, find places to stay, and so on and so forth to come back and fill those positions at bars. So the illegal workforce has to make up those gaps, and they're going to bring in the illegals, no quarantine, no vaccinations, and all I can sort of see, we're just looking like down the barrel of a repeat of last April when the Delta variant sort of hit Bangkok, and again they sort of said that spread through the bars and clubs, and it was not so much the typical bars and clubs. That was all the HISO bars and clubs because it was the younger generation flaunting their money around the place and just mingling and getting all close and cuddly and personal with everybody. And I can just sort of see this is happening. January next year, looking down the barrel of another lockdown. But again, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball with me, but something to really start to worry about.
If it does shake out that way, only saving grace that we have to maybe avoid another lockdown, or at least a severe, lengthy one, is if enough people are vaccinated, then the case numbers might not be what they were last April when this happened.
That is a point. So Bangkok, I know province Bangkok, they've now hit 70% dual vaccination in the numbers, although the country is only sitting around about maybe, was it 35 to 40% of dual vaccination?
Something like that.
Yeah, so there's pockets. That's what we're calling the blue zones. I think the blue zones are supposedly, from what I understand, they've got numbers in those zones that suggest that they've got a 70% vaccination rate. So from anybody coming in, definitely aim for the blue zones, and try to avoid the other zones. But again, there's not really a map anywhere sort of being listed. I think they've got different provinces. I think I raised this one here on a Twitter feed yesterday from one of the PR agencies. Yeah, Bangkok is in the blue, right? It's been now nominated as a blue zone. And I sort of said, so I'm allowed to stay, there's no quarantine as well in the blue zones. So I can go into Bangkok next week from here, which is just over the border, and if I don't leave Bangkok by 10 p.m, I can get out to Puttamonton Sai C, which is Sai 4, just down the road. That's where the border is, and then I'm driving illegally, or riding illegally. So how does that work? I'm travelling 32 kilometres, I'm legal, then I'm illegal. Why is Nakhon Pathom not included? You know, we don't really have any problems here, but again, the vaccination rate here in predominantly Thai area, we don't really find Farang here because it's a working area for Thais. It's the Nakhon Pathom. You know. They've only got about 45% vaccination rate here, dual vaccination, because the rollout.
Yeah, I think a lot of the classifying Bangkok as a blue zone, I think a lot of that is political more than facts on the ground.
Yeah.
Because we just got downgraded here where you and I are at, Waz. We just got downgraded from deep red to red, whatever that means, and we're right on the border, like you said. I can get on my bike and within a kilometer or two, I'm in Bangkok technically.
Yeah.
It's the border's right here. So I'm going right from a red zone to a blue zone. Well, that doesn't make much sense, does it? But
yeah. But of course, there's no roadblocks. Even when we had a lockdown, I think a couple of months ago, we did see there was a checkpoint out the front of the what do you call it? The Big C market. There was just one, 100 yards down the road from there. Never saw anybody at it. I saw the tents and the marquees and all that sort of stuff. But of course, I was never driving at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night back then, so I never know whether it actually got manned later on at night. But there was no sign that it ever got manned. I think they put it up there just in case. But it's going to come down to the fact that unless, of course, there's roadblocks, it's probably not going to meet a diddly squat anyway. And I know the back way. So once I get to, I think, Petkasem, Sai, Petkasem Roysip, I can travel back roads and I can avoid the main roads to my house anyway. So that may be a situation because I'm pretty sure they're not going to put a road.
I doubt it. The amount of manpower that they would need to actually set up those kinds of the roadblocks, I don't think it's possible. Yeah. And so much of this is political right now. That's the last thing they want is roadblocks on the news, and especially anything going to the international news.
Yeah. But again, this is what you do. This is the whole idea. This stops the spread of the thing. As we've said before, this virus only spreads between humans. The only way to stop this thing is stop human-to-human contact. They did that in China and effectively wiped the virus out. No other country's ever done that, and that's why it's still raging everywhere else in the world and sort of minimally pervasive in the Chinese federation, or what do you call China? What is it? What would you call it? It's not a country, is it?
People's Republic.
That's
Republic,
a republic, yeah. The Chinese Republic.
People's Republic.
Yeah.
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 Let's
But
be politically
unfortunately,
correct.
with wiping out COVID, they've now got the issue of a new avian flu coming into effect. There's been reports of a new bird flu starting to appear because there's now, because of the immune system taking a hit in their population. It hasn't sort of been wiped out, but their immune system's taken a hit. A new avian flu is starting to appear in certain provinces in China, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I know. If you ever saw that, did you ever see that movie that came out a few years ago called Samsara? And I still have images of that. The way we treat animals and the farming of these, these food crops. These meat food crops with the birds. They're like, a million birds on the floor, and they got these mechanical pickup arms that pick them up and throw them on the hooks, and and take all their. Oh my God! And we wonder why we have these viruses running when we treat these, these cohabitants of our planet. Okay, we might be omnivores as a species. We eat both plants and product of other animals. Yet we see these these cramped confines. Not so much chickens, but the pigs and the cows and it's amazing we haven't wiped our own, wiped ourselves out in the last 150 to 200 years anyway, just because of the way that, we know that viruses spread. That's anything that's a living organism becomes a petri dish. It's what we saw with the variants of the COVID. We are the petri dish. That's why we get these variants, because people aren't healthy. It only takes one, sick animal in case of bird flu, and that bird flu can wipe out the whole farm. Millions of birds being killed or culled just to keep the virus from spreading anywhere else. We just need to get back to some sensible farming, as far as I'm concerned. Keep these things. Let these things. We might be eating them, but let them be a little bit more freer to live out their mediocre lives until they are dinner table. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that thought process. But yeah, I just remember Samsara, just looking at those images, and the way that the way that the meat packing, how it all just goes through conveyor belts upon conveyor belts, and it is a shocking thing. If I get a chance to see it, it's a bit of a wake up call. Absolutely, cinematography on that piece of video was wonderful. If you get a chance to see
Was it about the Chinese particularly, or just?
I don't know whether it was that there wasn't it wasn't an attack on China. It was an attack on the actual process of us as a species now, and the way our food production system is run, and that's the shocking thing. How do you feed 7.5 billion people when probably 7 billion of those 7.5 billion are meat eaters, and it's like oh my God. You think about what you go to the butcher. Well, that's just you looking for food for the week. You got 7.5 billion people on the planet doing that every week, and you're going, where does all this meat come from? How is that packaged? And of course, they give you a bit of a snapshot in that movie, and you're going, I can't believe this shit. It's almost it drives you to veganism, I would guess. That's why some of the vegans are so prolific on the planet now.
It's the Hollywood thing.
It is a Hollywood thing, yeah.
In America, we've got this range-free meat you can get, primarily chicken, that is supposed to be ethically raised, and no mechanical processing of the chicken or anything like that. So, tastes more wild or gamey to me. I like it, but you you pay a little bit more money for it. Naturally. Oh, hey, capitalism at its finest, right?
Yeah, and that's always the thing that's always got me with the way that the system runs is, you know, there's a lot of great ideas to make things better. I always use the oil industry, right? We've got alternatives now for the oil industry. So they keep on funding and giving subsidies to the oil industry because they employ so many people around the globe. And I'm talking probably, you know, 500 million people collectively on the oil industry, right? And if we were to sort of, if they took away the subsidies for the oil industry, that industry would pretty much collapse over, you know, maybe over the period of 6 months. It completely collapse, and you got 500 million people out of work because, you know, the alternatives take over. So they keep on propping up these industries. These industries should be made to fail. But again, you know, this is just my rant on the whole subject. You know, they've built in these subsidy systems into, you know, solar power. You know, so the fact that, you know, solar panels last 20 years. So in Australia, for instance, you know, they factor in the removal or the disposal of these solar panels, which haven't been disposed of yet, but it comes into the buying price. But we don't sort of see a subsidy or removal of subsidy. We don't sort of see something. Okay, you're drilling a well in the ground now, but thing is that's going to, you know, the carbon footprint for the amount of oil you pull out of the ground now, you need to pay for that now so we can get rid of the carbon later. We don't see that happening, and this is where we're going wrong. You know, basically money talks. There we go. Just give more money to the politicians. Let's just forget about the problem.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Money runs everything. Now, back to the gentleman in question. Would money help him get through the process quicker?
For Todd.
Would that be me?
Yeah.
Hello, Todd.
Not really. It's
okay.
I mean, I'm happy to pay for the extra baggage, but no one seems to want to put the baggage in.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation. It's across 2 different airlines, and no one wants to accept responsibility. But Wazza and I have talked offline via his Discord channel. There's a plug for your Discord channel if you want to come and join us in our own little coffee club, as Wazza likes to call it. I thoroughly recommend you join Wazza's Discord channel. It's in the links on his YouTube site. You can't miss it. If you have any problems, you can message Wazza. He will talk you through it. There are 3 videos on his YouTube channel that explain how to use Discord. Am I saying that right, Wazza?
Yeah, that's a playlist. Yeah.
It's a place where we all chat openly and freely and have a good time. Yeah, we've talked offline on Discord channel. There's a plan B, plan C, plan D. Okay. But you are right. Money does talk, and the bullshit walks. But
yeah, you can always hire a private plane, right? That would be throwing money at it and getting it solved.
That solves the problem. Yeah.
Money will always solve it if you got enough of it.
If I could afford that, I'd be there now. I wouldn't be sitting here in my lounge room in Adelaide.
Well, you know.
No, I'd probably be with him too, Oggy. So you know,
I'd bring my little brother with me. He'd be flying with me. We'd be up front, sort of telling the pilot, we'll go via PopeKael somewhere. We'd stay a couple of nights, enjoy ourselves, and then we'll get to Thailand.
You just climb on a military aircraft and just, you know, Halo.
Yeah, well, just before we started the program today, we were talking about it, and I think the one that's the most obvious one to me was, how about you just put everything in a big box, double pack it with bubble wrap, shove it on a what do you call it, DHL, send it to my place. We'll put it under the stairs until you get here, and then just put a change of clothes in a backpack and just backpack it to Thailand.
Yeah,
that sounds like the most obvious way to go.
You know, you just swim.
Yeah.
Or buy another ticket, like, and so you get 2 passenger seats, and your passengers are boxes.
Well, actually, I did look into that. That, Scooter, and you can't, because then they question you why you have 2 tickets, and you can't book in 2 tickets on 1 passport.
Bizarre,
okay.
really.
Now, see,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me because if I'm flying because of my size, I have to book 2 tickets.
Yeah, that's different. That's because of medical or health reasons or physical reasons. If I book 2 tickets, I only sit in one seat, and therefore, why have I bought 2 tickets? So yeah, I did ask them about that, and it was like,
So the question
It really sounds like
I
shipping
mean-
might be the best way to go. I mean, it's a one-time expense. You can stop, you can turn off the headache.
yeah.
Say,
Yeah,
okay,
no.
I know that
Yeah.
all the stuff that you don't need when you land to, know that okay, it's going to get here.
Well, Robert
Yeah,
Groves
no,
did
I
actually
did
send
the
his
bulk.
whole house, didn't he? Robert Groves sent his house to Thailand. How did that go, Robert? How much drama was actually sort of packing up your house into all those boxes? Just the thought of putting it all in the boxes was just, I couldn't get past that, seriously. But yeah.
Well, Gravesy's gone. I can use his heliport right next to his pool on his land.
Oh, is that
I don't know
right?
how B would feel about me landing a helicopter near her vegetable garden, but I love the idea, Gravesy. Thank you.
Yeah, Boston Harbor was 2016
yeah.
I arrived, not 2014. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, but what sort of charges did they? What was the import duties? Because I mean, I don't know whether they do it via weight or they do it by the value of what you're bringing in, Grovesy. So I don't know whether we can chat via Facebook afterwards or whatever. But that's my main concern. It's just the value of the import duties. That's all.
I can't imagine putting an import duty on second-hand clothes, which is effectively what you're sending over. That's just basically going from point A to point B.
You're sending them to yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
second-hand.
yes and no. I mean, I wanted. Well, the spare baggage was going to be my motorcycle gear. So, and Scooter's doing the. Don't OCD a Scooter. Don't OCD us.
What did I hit?
That's
right.
better. Yeah. Well, I was going to basically
Sorry.
2 baggages were my personal stuff, like the clothes, toiletries, bits and pieces, a couple of hard drives, and the second baggage was going to be like my motorbike stuff, the helmet, jackets, boots, bits and pieces like that. So you're talking a showy helmet, your jeans. Motorcycle jeans aren't cheap. I mean, they're $400. You've got your 2 jackets in themselves. They're coming up to $1,500. So you're not talking cheap stuff here, and that's my concern. For insurance purposes, you want to give it the legit prices.
Yeah.
So when you talk about it, if I send my motorcycle bag, you're talking somewhere close to $2,500, or close to $3,000 if you want to put legit prices on there for insurance purposes. So when you send that through your duties for Thailand, I'm looking at it what's going to cost. That's all.
Well, can I give a bit of advice, Todd?
Yeah, go Bryce.
Yeah. How long's the flight between where you're flying from, and Bangkok?
Total flight time, you're looking around about 21 hours.
Okay, mate. Just wear all your motorcycle gear on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Problem solved.
He'll be walking in like this.
For some reason, I don't think they'd let me wear my motorcycle helmet while I'm sitting there. Yes, I'll be masked. I can probably get away with it by saying I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah. But don't forget, you got your comms gear, so you're able to talk us all the way through it as you're going through immigration.
Yeah. It's just a DOT approved mask.
Yeah, exactly. And in case we go down, I'll be fully protected.
Yeah, you'll be fine, mate.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy!
No,
Got this life jacket under my seat here. Aim for a puddle, will you?
That's plan J. All right, we'll put down as
Plan J.
Operation Juliet, fully clothed.
You look in the chat, Mark made the move pretty recently. He'd probably be a good person to talk to. He says that he did it, moved a bunch of clothes that way, and it was pretty painless.
Yeah. No, I was speaking to him a couple of months ago, and he said he did, I think it was 2.5 boxes or 1.5 boxes. So I'll MVD, I'll contact you after this, mate.
There's a Bossa Nova. I think I remember you doing a vlog when you left Sydney, when you were leaving Sydney. No, that's right. There was a door-to-door vlog I did. That was, I think, vlog number 5 or 6 in the series. And you have to go.
So you're up in the 500s now, aren't you?
Oh, well, then I think 570 is vlogs. I've got 750 videos on the channel at the moment. So, that's all the other bits and pieces of stuff that I've done. People know the channel. That's something I have done recently. I've reorganized my channel into specific playlists or groups for people who don't like the motorcycle riding. Then it's fairly well obvious that's a motorcycle ride. If people don't like the insider Bangkok insider stuff, then it's appropriately titled Bangkok Insider now. So I'm not interested in knowing about the inside story of Bangkok. Then again, maybe people will come and like the inside story of Bangkok, which is the series we're starting on now. So hopefully it'll help categorise things. There's also the shorts, that's the little funny bits and pieces. There's the live stream, that's a playlist now. So when you actually go to the actual web page for my channel, you can see it nicely categorised for all the different types of things we're doing here. It beats the whole making separate channels sort of issue that there's two schools of thought there in YouTube. Some people sort of say you should make a separate channel for each different type of content. And then, of course, you get others sort of saying, doing what I'm doing, which is categorising it inside your channel properly with playlists, so people have got easy access to it. And I'm going for that particular methodology as opposed to the other. What I'm doing seems to be the way YouTube also seem to indicate that that's the better way to go. But again, you've got different schools of thought. Everybody's an expert on YouTube, and they change the rules daily as well. So who knows?
Everybody's an expert on the virus.
That's for everything. There's so many freaking experts on this planet now. Just drips under pressure. Now, Bryce.
I keep it all on. Sorry, go on.
Bryce, now we've covered your issue before, but you want to talk about your issue that you're dealing with having to get here. I thought, give you a chance to talk about your fun and games. Oh my God. Talk about people having problems getting into this country.
Well, I'll tell you, just basically I went through the same application process as everybody else in the United States goes through. And because I'm originally from England, I live in America, been here 20 years, but recently just moved from Florida to Texas, I don't have a regular doctor here because fortunately I've not been unwell. So part of the Thai OA visa application is that you have to get a medical form filled out stating that you don't have various ailments. I can't remember exactly what they are right now, but it's a form that everybody would have to fill out. And so I went to literally 20 or 30 doctors in my local area, and they said, well, you've got no history here, we can't sign it. And I said, well, I don't have leprosy, that's one of them, I've got all my arms and legs, right? There must be blood tests and other tests you can do for the other things, like syphilis, that was another one. And there's a few other things, and they're actually pretty much the ailments they want to know whether you have these or not are stuff that really doesn't apply to Western countries like the United States or England or whatever. It's unusual. Anyway, long story short, no doctor around here will sign that form. And I got it. I paid some money and got a Thai company. I think I paid $10 US, and they sent me the form, and they signed it off and said, there you are, you're good to go. But because Thai law requires you have to have the medical form signed by a doctor of the country you're in. Right. So I'm in America. A Thai doctor signing a form in Thailand is not going to work. So that is basically my big stumbling block. We've had this conversation amongst us. And
have you tried a marijuana doctor? They'll sign anything.
Well, I better go to Oregon then.
Well, or Arizona,
Oh, well, true. Yeah.
Colorado,
Washington, California, Nevada. I mean, we've got a lot of states now.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody
Well,
does
if anyone's
medical
interested,
marijuana.
the 5 medical conditions that you have to be free from are leprosy, tuberculosis, elephantitis, drug addiction, and the 3rd step of syphilis.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's
So
right.
the first and second syphilis is okay. It's the 3rd step of syphilis that you've got to worry about.
There's just,
Yeah. Which means you can't go to third base.
you can't go to third base. Have you tried the public health department?
Yes, I've literally tried. Let's say I'm in El Paso. It's a population of about 1 million people,
Right.
and there's 50 doctors in my local area, and I trust it. I've talked to all of them. I've been to some of those offices. Some of them have said, "Hey, listen, well, come in, pay you $100 for your visit, and the doctor will tell you whether they're going to sign it off at that point or not." I'm not prepared to do it. Long story short, I've now decided that I will go to Thailand and apply for that visa once I'm in Thailand.
Yeah, I was
And
going to say, that's for your
requirement.
case, that's the way to go around this problem, it seems like it, because then you got the doctor certificate from the country being issued in the country you're in. And obviously the bonus there is you'll actually get the O-level retirement visa, not the OA, so you've ever avoid the bullet of the what do you call it, that medical insurance bullshit. Mind you, I think you're still going to have $50,000 US coverage to come in, and that's a general policy coverage that's required for everybody coming to Thailand now, not just tourists.
Yeah.
So, this is, people have been sort of saying, this whole, medical insurance thing, it's, only OA relative. No, as far as we can sort of see, reading between the lines again, this is what we tend to do. We all become experts at reading between the lines. We definitely feel the fact that the medical insurance mandate is going to go across the board for all expats here in Thailand at some stage in the near future. There's definitely being a push towards this. We've got the 500 baht medical insurance for everybody landing in the country, which is to cover all the people who skip out on the riding their scooters into gutters and cracking their skulls open and then sort of leaving the country without paying their bill. Thailand shouldn't have to pay for that to start with, but this is what we get in Thailand. It's a free country in retrospect to the fact that you're free to go and kill yourself as much as you like. At least you can only do it once, but it's a free country. Life is cheap. If you want to ride without a helmet, that's your own lookout. But don't skip out on the bloody medical, the medical bill once they crack their skull open. That's just putting the load on somebody else. That's just, in my book, just something you shouldn't be doing. But anyway, enough of that rant.
I guess, one question I might have, which nobody here knows the answer to, is that going to be another change in the immigration requirements? Are they going to change that need for that medical certificate? I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know.
Well,
No, it's still on there.
Yeah,
Still on there.
There's coming in. I think we had that picture before. Coming in, there's 50,000 was required on the. Where did I put it? Is it general chat? Yeah, there we go. So bring that back up, open there, and go back to that picture there, and minimise that one. So this thing here, this medical insurance with a minimum 50,000 coverage of 50,000 coverage should be a broad policy. Now, there's the word "should be" a broad policy, not specific to COVID-19 only, and covers hospitalisation expenses. I also read this week through the other journals the fact that this is now being sort of adjusted across the board on different visa applications, not just the travel visas, but they're now pushing this 50,000 US coverage everywhere. As opposed to OA, which has the full 3 million coverage. We're just a special case, that's the way we go. But we're not too worried about that.
Were you asking about medical certificate or medical insurance?
Well, they're calling this one here as
The person that was asking.
Okay.
That was me. I was asked.
Yeah.
I was asking if they're going to drop the requirement for you to fill out that 5-question medical form here, which I guess they're not. So,
Yes.
I mean, there's some Americans here on our channel that I can see, and there's also some probably online. I mean, if anybody here in the United States has had to fill out that medical declaration, I'd like to know how you got it done.
But again, I think that's probably because they're Americans living in America and they've got a medical history. Employment visas in Thailand only require elephantitis syphilis tests. Many clinics don't actually test for these. They just check you have 500 baht in your wallet and sign. There is that side of it too, there, Paul, I'm sure.
I mean, that's the thing. They require
comment on that one.
for somebody that lives in the US, like myself, they require me to fill out this medical declaration with those questions answered by a doctor. However, I can fly to Thailand and do my visa application there, and I can go and pay $10, and the Thai doctor's not even going to look at me. They're just going to say, "There you go. Where's your $10? Thanks a lot, mate."
Yeah,
it's rubbish, you know.
it's the way it is, you know. But this is Thailand. We can bypass everything. Just say this is Thailand. TIT.
You just got to get there.
That's it. Getting here is the problem. The fun and games. But as I said, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Honestly, you know, I love Thailand. I'm a fanboy. But you know, that's the way it goes when you've sort of seen what we have to deal with in Australia. Not that I hate Australia. I love Australia too. Don't get me wrong. I love Australia. I just hate the people running Australia. Right? That's it. You know, Australia is a great place. Just the people running it are a bunch of fucking mindless jerks who'll be the first against the wall when the revolution comes.
Wall. Yeah.
I think that's the same for most countries, quite honestly, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I've just finished watching
Well,
a TV series
he's
called
living
Travellers.
He's living in the Republic of Texas, so I mean he's jaded already.
Jaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished watching a
Texas
series.
was its own country. I mean, they still have their own rules.
Right. Yeah, as I said, I was just finished watching a series called Travellers on Netflix there, which has this storyline where the future is doomed, the human race is doomed, and they worked a way to transfer the consciousness back to people in the 21st century. So it sounds like Quantum Leap, doesn't it? When you start to think of the quantum.
Yeah.
A little bit. I watched that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they made more of it. It was getting good right when they canceled
I
it.
believe that they're talking about revamping Quantum Leap, rebooting it.
Yeah, it's going back.
Yeah,
Yeah, Quantum Leap, they're rebooting it.
Yeah. But again, they were looking at there was this undertow in the story about what we're doing to this planet, you know, and no matter what they did, no matter what this AI did to try to avert the demise of the human race, the human race was doomed to kill itself up anyway. There was the asteroid, then there was, what else was there? There was, I can't remember the different things that popped up, and then the rogue AI or the rogue faction, and no matter what they did, something else happened. There was one thing, so somebody designed some sort of new energy source, which unfortunately, would completely sort of blow up the whole planet or something. Oh, yeah, but it was a bizarre story, but I loved it. I think a good binge watch for a couple of weeks there. What go-go hopping, saw June prefer the original 1980. Well, the original 1980 wasn't the June book anyway. That was completely ruined by anybody who was a June fanboy like myself. Since when did he have a voice module in the book that created some sort of weapon? No, the Weirding Way was a martial art, which was very well depicted.
Could have swore they had that in the book.
A Weirding module? No,
they didn't. I'm reading it right now. No, I haven't seen it yet.
No.
No, the Weirding Way was a martial art that the Bene Gesserit taught. right? It was like what we would akin to Taekwondo or Tai Chi, where you could move with the flow of the body and the move. It's like a combination of Tai Chi, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, where you could offset people's movements and come behind them and sort of because people learnt to fight with shields, so the killing attack blow for a shield opponent was a slow moving blade. Right, and the weirding way was the way that they would have to move and dodge and then come up from behind and then hit that striking blow at a very slow pace into the vital organs. That was the weirding way, which the Fremen had never learned. But it was something that was taught by the Bene Gesserit. Anyway, somehow that became some sort of voice modulated fighting weapon. What? When? No, the best depiction I've seen on the movies, particularly, was the 2000 series called. It was a mini series, 4.5 hour, three episodes, and that was followed on 4 years later with the Children of Dune. That was the best storytelling that could closely approximate the book. This one here that they've just released, in my opinion, absolutely beautiful, stunning visuals, everything else, but all the key points from the book have been missed. Who the hell, they don't even talk about the Bene Gesserit. They don't talk about the Mentat, how do the Mentat, the training of the Mentat. They don't talk about anything. They don't give you any of the backstory because they're trying to condense book 1 of Dune into a 2.5 hour movie. And the only thing that sells movies these days is blowing up shit, The more blowing up shit you get.
I think they spend a lot of time doing these, taking these movies and, they come up with a really good idea for a movie, but they go, oh, well, this is kind of like Dune. Let's call it Dune, because that way we'll get all the Dune people to watch it. That's like, they'd probably have a perfectly good movie if they wouldn't have called it Dune.
Yeah. But it's a good story. I like what they did as a movie, that there was, like, my mind's filling in the backstory, and if you know the backstory, if you read the book, it helped with the visualization of the things you remember from the book. But if you've never read the book, like, if you're a millennial that's never picked up a book in his life, or, maybe you picked up Tom Sawyer because you had to at school or something like that, you're never going to appreciate what that movie's all about anyway, because people don't read books anymore. But anyway, I love how we just go off a subject, but anyway.
No, I mean...
Wombat.
Yeah, well, I mean, the backstory. I mean, the complete story, so like you said, you're filling it in, but they're trying to appeal to, the millennial audience and not relaunch the Star Wars line or anything like that, but, can they have that success? Most of the people, and it's my daughter and her friends in their 20s, they didn't care about the backline. They wanted to. A couple of her girlfriends were, what are the costumes like, or what are the people wearing? They were more into the fashion of it, and then the guys were more nerded out on the still suits and some of the action sequences and stuff like that. So I mean, they hit all the Hollywood.
That's right.
Things.
Now, if I had $500 million, I would sit down and create Larry Niven's universe, probably launch a complete storyline along the Ringworld series, right? Because I think that is just epic, right? And if I had the money, I would do that, because that would appeal to people who've read the books and also the new generations, because the epic scope of everything. There's, the what do you call it, the puppeteer race, the Zinti race. It is just so massive. But
I think money-wise, I mean, they're going to do part 2 now. That started filming, and if it's successful, then they'll do like Star Wars did, which did 4, 5, 6, book 4, 5, 6, and then came back with 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I know that the hardcore Star Wars, 1, 2, 3 people don't like the movie, but it did tell a lot of the good backstory, right?
It
filled
did, yes.
in I think how like Children of Dune, like you referenced, how they did that. They'll go into that kind of thing. So
I want to see what the new Avatar is going to be like.
oh,
Yeah,
that's a good
Been
one.
a while in the making.
Yeah, like
Been a
maybe
long
10
while,
years
mate.
now. I think they've made like 2, 3, and 4, but I guess they haven't had the financial support to bring it out yet. But I mean, I thought that was a great movie. So
Here's,
we'll
here's
see.
if you haven't seen this, is the chronological order. I'm not sharing to you guys. It'll pop up. I suppose I could share it across there as well. Share my screen to you guys so you can see it there. So this is a chronological order of the Dune book. So currently this movie is here, written in 1965 by Frank Herbert, and it was a 2-part book in one issue. So they just finished book 1, or just around book 1 in that movie. They just basically, I think, meeting Stilgar in the seats there was the beginning of book 2, from a vague recollection. So here's all the other books, of course, when they were written, the dates and everything else. The Valerian Jihad, the Machine Crusade, the Battle of Corinth, the Sisterhood of Dune, the Mentats of Dune, Navigators of Dune. These again are complete books around the mythology of the world view that Frank Herbert had, written by his son Brian Herbert and his co-author Kevin Anderson. Navigators of Dune, House Atreides. That's of course the houses, what set the houses apart with each other. House Harkonnen. What made them warlike. House Carino. How did they become? What do you call it? The ruling empire. And then of course from Dune you got Paul of Dune, which is like Paul's story when he was exiled to the desert, Dune Messiah when he came back, the Winds of Dune. I have no idea what they're doing with that one because I haven't read that one yet. Children of Dune, which then talks about his children and how Leto II becomes the Worm Emperor, which is the God Emperor Dune, who lives for 4,500 years, and then of course the Heretics of Dune, how the fish speakers take over and start to rebel against the way thing, the chapter house getting back. It's just so epic. Sandworms of Dune, and of course then Omnius comes back, so complete the full cycle. But yeah, if you've never read this stuff, then you're like, how do you even? it's a massive building of a story. And I love it. I'm a fanboy. I'm sorry. I do have a link to this in my Discord for those Discord people. If you haven't heard the audiobooks, you can listen to the ones that I bought. There you go. I'll share my books. I don't know if that's breaching any copyright rules. I bought the books, and I'm going to lend you my books. There you go. I'm sure there's some sort of breach of copyright there, but
Peter's in jail again. Oh, there he goes. He's back.
but yeah, so this is what we can do on our Discord channel. We can share things amongst our friends. It doesn't go public, and I'm sure a creative person could probably go and find stuff out there as well. I think it's all available on Amazon. But anyway. The fun and games of the way we deal with things these days. But yeah, I also I like Frank Herbert. His son tended to keep the stylization of the writing pretty sort of uniform, but I still think Larry Niven was my all-time favourite author.
Heinlein.
Heinlein. Notice how it's always science fiction for me. This love stories and history stories, and I've got no time for that. It's got to think of the future.
Heinlein.
Yeah.
Raymond E. Feast, David Eddings, Patrick Tilley,
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey?
Yeah, McCaffrey. Yep.
A lot of good authors out there. Don't forget, like
The
we've got an
Tower and the
expert.
Hive.
We've got an expert reader here. This is what Oggy does for a hobby. He's a proofreader for new authors. Is that right, Oggy? Tell us a bit about your story there. Come on.
I read for what they call JIT reading, just in time. I read just before they put it to publication, looking for final issues with words, tenses, misspellings, improper sex.
He's the grammar police. So we talk about the grammar police on Facebook. There he is, the grammar police.
No. I don't correct grammar. I correct, like, if they call him her or her him, or they say that one of the ones they had, somebody went into the forest and somebody else came out. It's like, hold it. It's like,
he went in the forest
here?
and she came out. There we go. It's a transgender story.
Possible.
But no, I love it. Matter of fact, we're supposed to have our publishing house dinner in Vegas next month. So we got to go over to it, meet all the new authors and everything. It started off with a guy that came up with the idea that if he wrote 20 books, he could make $50,000 a year. By the time he got to 20 books, I think he was making $1 million. His books just took off. That was Michael Anderle, The Kurtherian Gambit, if you haven't read any of them.
So Mark wants to know, anybody read Advanced Electrical Engineering Principles? Absolutely scintillating.
I found the appendix a little dry.
Yeah.
No, I just look at the pictures or the schematics. You learn a lot more.
Is that right? They had to put, talk about schematics, and the fan we put into the dining room had an instruction on how to assemble that thing, and the whole thing is in Thai. Thank God I could read a schematic, work out what bits go where, because I couldn't read the Thai. But yeah, it was fun. And Bossa Nova was a great read. Not. Yes. What else are we going to do? So, who's looking forward to coming to Thailand? So, from all the people who are not in Thailand here, which is,
I'm already booked.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot to give you a bit of a. I forgot to give you a shout out. You didn't come on camera, so good morning, Sean. Good evening, Sean.
And stuff on other apps. Good. I'm just
got,
on other apps.
He's got no clothes on. That's what it is. Don't come on naked.
No,
what are you doing there, Sean?
I'm coming out there for 28 days, actually.
Awesome.
So when do you hit the country?
Yeah.
When do you land?
23rd December.
December. Okay, so probably 2 weeks after Todd gets here.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'll come out and see you guys, or you guys come see me.
That's right. Well,
Either way, figure something out.
We are organising things in the meetup arena again. Well, we're not making anything formal. Like I said last night, we went to did the hot dog thing, and then they said, let's go and eat somewhere, and there's nothing open in Pat Pong. That video will be out in the next day or two. So as I said, well, we could go up the road, or we could go to Susie. Susie will feed us. So we just jumped in a taxi.
Yeah, I'm actually staying in Asok the whole time. I've got a hotel the whole time in Asok.
Fair enough. Oh, I didn't know that Susie actually has a spare room there for anybody sort of, coming over. If you know Susie, she's already said that if ever I get stranded in Bangkok, I can always use the room. Because like I planned.
Well, that's for when we ride in there and
that-
have a few too many
Exactly.
Thai yellow waters. We can we can crash there rather than ride back to Nakhon Pantong.
That's part of the plan. Or couch surfing. I think I got 4 couch surfing locations. We've got Jerry, we've got Niall, we've got Paul, and we've got Psycho's place where we can couch surf, and of course now Susie's place. But yeah, so we're putting in the groundwork. Mind you, last 2 times, I went last Friday, this Friday, I didn't drink, and I had just as good a time as any. I don't want to be saying I'm too teetotaler, but I can have fun without alcohol. Mind if somebody throws a few shots on the table, I'm not going to say no.
It can actually be more entertaining to watch the people who are drinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far,
Not to mention you can record it and use it later.
use it later. But
Thank
yes.
God we didn't have smartphones when I was younger.
Oh yeah, same here. Oh, spaghetti trail.
So Todd found me a little sort of speaker system that I could plug into the Discord and put it on the desk so we can actually do that live stream from those locations and have the audience on the Discord so everybody can participate. Because what we noticed when we did it last time, there was we had 2 cameras, which we had to mute one, and of course you can't, the people on the Discord really couldn't interact with the group unless of course they had headphones in and things like that. So just we've got an idea for a plug-in device which we're going to, well, I've got to order one from Lazada and see how that goes next time. But it actually has a microphone speaker system, so.
It's only $10. It wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, it's not expensive, yeah.
Oh my gosh, 300 baht.
Yeah.
It's all spending.
That exceeds his budget for the week.
Well, I don't get very many super chats on here anymore. Like, you if you want me to buy it, super chat me 300 baht so I can buy it. Not you, Todd.
Well, you can wait until I get there and I'll buy one. It's right.
So
it's on my budget list. It's okay.
Does Thailand celebrate Christmas? I mean, Thai people, or is it?
Oh, we
like
do. We do have a Christmas, but this is my camera bag, and like with all the stuff I took last night, we have like my extra light. This is a light, by the way. And all the extra stands and everything else. This bag is no longer big enough to take all my gear. Starting to get a bit of a problem. I need a bigger camera bag now.
That's probably the only reason why Wazza's looking for me to come to Thailand is I'll be the carry bitch because I'll have to carry everything for him.
You can be the cameraman, yeah. We actually had
You'll be his mule.
We had another
yeah.
Thai. We had another Thai Australian.
Sure,
we had a Thai Australian expat.
Did you say donkey or ass? No.
I keep on forgetting the delay. We're going to delay. There is a 1 second delay between all the different points around the planet here, so we tend to over talk each other every so often. But as I was saying, there was a transgender friend of mine here, Pat, not Bangkok Pat, another Pat. I haven't seen her for a while, but when she was over here, staying over here, we were planning to have her go and be the camera girl, so we could do our, walk around Bangkok. This is for 2018 sort of era, but she went back to Australia, poor girl. Hopefully she'll come back as soon when things get better. But getting a cameraman. As I said, if I had 20,000 subscribers, I'd probably hire a Thai to do it. Just to pay them to do it. We're getting there.
You're getting there. All right, fellas, I got to go.
Okay, Scooter.
Right,
good to have you along.
Lovely meeting you guys, and I hope we'll be able to buy you guys beer sometime.
We hang out here, like Saturday we tend to, this is getting to be a regular thing. We do the live stream for 2 hours, and then we'll probably chat for another hour and a half to 2 hours after when we're off camera. That's when we can swear and curse.
Well, I look
more
forward
than what we do here.
I look forward to reading of your trials and tribulations of getting in country, and learn from your success. How's that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll fail, and then you don't make my mistakes. All right? How's that?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to put a positive spin on it.
all good, mate.
Yeah. Americans are eternal optimists, right?
But it's good to have you
You
along.
guys take care.
Okay, Scooter.
Yeah. All right, take care. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good night, Scooter, mate.
Nice, Scooter.
Cheers. Bye. Let's see if I do this right.
No, the screen.
Sorry.
Was it Malcolm K? If you hire a Thai girl, you'll become the cameraman, Wazza. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Put that in some sort of visual context. Okay, so I've been watching the chat go through. There's been a lot of chat between everybody else. No specific questions targeting us, was there? Me specifically? I don't think I've missed anything.
What does he
My
have
mate,
on
my
his
mate,
screen?
yeah, my mate sent me this picture the other day of Thai love.
That's a classic. I do like that one. I've seen that one. Where's, I've also got one as well somewhere, which is see if I can find it. It's under my memes folder. Talk amongst yourselves while I browse through my library here.
Yes, Chris, Wazza did have a barbecue, several barbecues actually, earlier. He is using the barbecue. I can quantify that. There's a couple of videos on his YouTube channel. You can check out the barbecue in action. And that is one thing I'm definitely going to get into when I get to Thailand. But I am into smoking, offset smoker with charcoal and scented wood. And I have found a smoker's website in Thailand that sells smoking wood, and I'm looking forward to getting over there and using some mango charcoal from the mango tree and cooking up a smoker barbecue for when I get over there. But I can say that Wazza's been using his barbecue.
Okay, here's
That's one question.
Here's one, I think it is. Where is it? Photos. Yeah. This is a classic that comes back that always seems to sort of get the rounds on the thing. I'm not showing it to you guys. Just share my screen, go live.
I've seen that one.
You've seen this one?
Yeah.
Hang on, I got what's right. Oh.
Why do people come to Thailand? There we go.
That's very accurate, actually, mate.
Yeah. What can we say? This is why we love Thailand. Well, some of us at least, anyway. Okay. Get back to the chat. That'll come back to haunt me at some stage, I'm sure.
No, never.
Paul Leverage, Paul Leverage. That was Warren and Chanya. Yeah. I don't like driving around Bangkok either. Yes, that was I'd say the last night we were going from Pat Pong, and like it's only sort of up through past Lumpini Park to get to Sukhumvit. To Taman Sukhumvit, that's right, Taman Sukhumvit, Sukhumvit Road. But that taxi drive took something like a little over an hour to go, like 5 kilometres. I can't believe
Could have walked that.
Could have probably walked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
well, we're going to. I said,
3 miles. If you can't do 3 miles in an hour, you're me.
Well, we were at Patpong. I said, let's get on the BTS. The BTS to Nana would have been like 25 baht or 30 baht each, right? So that was 120 baht for 4 people. We said, oh, the taxi's probably cheaper. The taxi was 120 baht. But we would have got there quicker by the BTS. But yeah, that's Thailand for you. Nobody. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. But it was a fun night out last night. It was one of those impromptu, what are we going to do now sort of situations. I was in there. I was doing some footage for the video I'll put up tomorrow or the next day, and then of course doing our little hot dog thing, which I believe that is running now. But I don't know, I've got a picture somewhere that might be able to explain it better. Where is my photos? Oh, I haven't cleaned my photos up. Let me move that off screen for a second. I know this Chanya had some stuff in there, like it's got dresses and stuff like that that I think we might not want to show everybody. Here we go. Now, what's wrong with that? No, could you just refresh that screen a bit more? There it is. Yeah, so this is the thing. So it's for hot dogs and hot girls, best in town. Get yours now. Delicious hot dogs delivered by hot girls. Choose the girls delivering your hot dog right to your room at xxxbangkok.com. Want any extra services? You've got a line address and you've got a telephone number. For hot extras, call 09609055567, or you can line them on hot girls. There you go. Bit of a plug for them. They're a great bunch of guys.
Travel internationally.
Do they travel internationally?
Do you chose or you choose? If you chose, it's post dated, which means you've done the experience, but you won't remember it.
Is that right? Anyway, a bit of a plug for them. They're a great bunch of guys that are doing what they can to get through these tough times with all their bars and clubs closed. The owner of this establishment and the mind behind this, he owns 6 establishments in Patpong there. One of them being the museum, and the other 5 are being not quite. Paul did tell me, if Paul's still here, I think he was going to go to sleep at some stage. Paul's one of these night owls that stays up till like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So hard to get him on track. But he knows all the bars. He's told me half a dozen times, but like, as you just told me bar names, until I go there, what sort of extra services can you get with your hot dog delivery? I don't understand. So he's not asleep yet. I don't know. I thought mustard. I think mustard was an extra, wasn't it? Mustard and solid cream sauce. Yes.
You've got to have fried onion with it.
Fried onion, yeah. Clam sauce, was it? Somebody was mentioning clam sauce before.
Just stay away from the sesame seeds, mate.
Sesame seeds. Bryson has said, did the girls come with their own hot dogs, or were they the clam version? So what was it? What would you say? Did you say? I can't remember the exact.
I said, were the girls like hot dogs or clams?
Oh, right. Were the girls like hot dogs or clams? That's right, yes. Mayonnaise, yes, boss. What do you think the bars... When do you think the bars will be open? We're hedging bets right now, Edward. December 1, we're probably likely to see a relaxing of the rules. They're going to need to get 30 days of what's happening with the current situation, the current relaxing of the rules from November. And the data takes 14 days to compile, and depending on how things fluctuate, how the numbers of things, because don't forget, once the virus takes a hold of somebody, it can be probably 14 days before you'll see the person so seriously affected and maybe sort of hospitalised to the point of death and things like that. So it's very hard to get those numbers, but they'll need the full 28 days, and they'll be making those decisions probably 3 days out from December 1, would be my bet. I forgot which bars too, but it's the big ones on the Soy XX Lounge, the Strip Bar, Fetish, Black Pagoda, and maybe Bada Bing and Patpok Museum. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so it's on that side. Yeah, I visually can picture all of them, so they're all in that little group there. Okay. I'm coming to Thailand around February, March. Look, you shouldn't have. I think things, unless of course we get a new spike from this current relaxing of the rules, and they do another lockdown, then I'm sort of saying. I'm still saying Q2 next year is the best time to make a booking for if you want to come back. But don't forget you're coming back in the middle of summer. But Songkran, we are hoping keeping our fingers crossed that we can actually have our first proper Songkran for the last 3 years. Because the last 2 Songkran have been a complete failure, it is a great time of the year to visit Thailand. With all the water fights and craziness that goes on. Great food, great entertainment. Gone are the days of, I think we've gone to the days of the, what I call it, the foam parties for Songkran. They used to be a big hit down in Pattaya and Phuket. Again, foam parties. So I think they were already on their way out prior to COVID hitting. There's a lot of other things to do apart from foam parties. Foam parties are a lot of fun, but yeah. Water fights are good too. And Todd giving a plug there. Don't forget to hit that like, guys. Thumbs up, like guide. Yes. I get more people viewing this stream after we actually go live because our time slot, which again, I'm still throwing that out there. Do we need to move this time slot to another time? We are doing Saturday morning, which is Friday night for Americans. Our English viewers don't even, they don't get to participate whatsoever because it's the middle of the night for them. But again, you can't you can't pick a time slot for everybody. And being an Aussie, trying to talk to my Aussie counterparts, the only other time we've really got to do that would be like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which would put it sort of, just after dinner time in Australia for the East Coast, and just before dinner time for West Coast sort of thing. It's and to make that move completely screws up my whole planning for the day, because whether I'd be actually home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to do a stream, there's so many what ifs. But I'm prepared to make some changes if people think we need to make some changes. It was 5:30 a.m. there for Paul. Okay, so he's up nice and early in England. Sorry for getting you out of bed that early. Ninja Adventures. Hope you're.
I could go earlier here, but not later.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing. So moving it an hour earlier makes it a bit easier for the Americans. Puts it in their dinner time. But again, we've got 4 hours to cover there as well. They say sometimes hold foam. They say they sometimes hold parties outside the Soy LK Metro on Pattaya, but on a smaller scale. Yeah, but again, with the current restrictions, things like that, they are highly. Although it's a nice, clean fun, somehow I just don't think they're going to fly in this post-COVID era, and they'll be using this as a situation for making sure that they don't get that carried away with the goings on, because there was some interesting goings on underneath the foam a lot of the time. Move to 7 p.m. for us Aussies. I'm selfish. 7 p.m. That's 7. 3 p.m. So that's 3 p.m. They're not going to do the daylight saving crap. Oh my God. 4
p.m. for you, was it? 4 p.m. for you.
Okay, we're going to have to give it some thought. We'll have to talk it amongst ourselves and see if we can move the channel to 4, move the time slot to 4 p.m. Doesn't affect Chanya; she's still working, and I got to think back for the last 6 months. What have we been doing on a Saturday afternoon at around that time? Probably not much. This is gaming time. That's it. This is when we sort of do gaming. I suppose I could change it.
No cutting into our gaming time.
Oh, you're asleep by that time. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. As long as I'm pushing keys on the keyboard with my face, that's okay.
Not been to bed yet. Watching baseball. Oh, really, Paul? Baseball. What's that? Is that
really?
Is that like anything like football? I don't know.
That they have a nice stable of girls for the deliveries.
What? Baseball?
The only thing I know about baseball is Major League with
right?
Martin Sheen. Or Charlie Sheen, sorry. The wild thing.
He's selecting your hot dog, Augie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is
Looks
that what
like-
he's doing? Is it? Okay, right. I haven't looked. I honestly haven't checked out the website either, so I'm still a little bit in the
we
dark
haven't-
on that one.
We haven't done the Go-Go Girls tonight yet. Yeah.
Oh, there's something else. Like they're opening a new part of the exhibition in this is what we're told last night. In the museum, they're putting another section in to do with the serial killer. That was the series that was recently released on Netflix. So they're actually going to do an inside story behind that serial killer aspect in Thailand. Some of the inside story, not so much the dramatized TV version. That'll be something new. And the museum does open on the 1st of November. So for those people based in Bangkok and around the area, if you want to get back to check out the museum, I don't know when that exhibition is going to go live, but we'll hear about, it'll be on my video I do from next week when I go and visit. We'll get to talk about that too. But I'm just thinking outside the box. I'm going to have to actually watch that series before I go back in there, so I got a bit of, context, because I only know roughly about the story about this. He was an American, wasn't he? Was an American living in Bangkok? Well, I'm pretty sure he was American.
Jeez, I can't remember where he was from. The show is called The Serpent, I think.
Yeah, that's right. The show's called The Serpent. Yeah. So we'll have more on that one next week as well. So again, all this stuff's going to come up into my new series, the Bangkok Insider. We've done a few videos, sort of loosely sort of alluding to that. I released them all last week, and got a few people sort of saying, "Why are you releasing all this old material?" Well, because I'm releasing the series, and that's all the stuff that was always there if you went exploring, but now it's public. There you go. End of story. I'll do it. It's my channel. I'll do what I want on it. I've got all these experts telling me how to run my channel. You go, you have a look at their name. Well, I don't see you have a channel. How are you any expert or authority on the situation? There you go. End of story. 2 hot dogs are twice as... Are they? Really? You don't get 2 for the price of 1? Oh my God. That's a bit rough. The serial killer was an American living in Bangkok. Scott, no, I don't think so. Let's not call that Scott. He's a good bloke. He's a bit opinionated, but he's a good bloke. Leave him alone. I don't think it was him. Paul, 69 bar closing. We'll have to move. I don't even know the 69 bar. Never heard of it. 2 for the price of 2. Yeah, I know. And how much are the extras? Okay. What do we got? So we're 20 minutes to the hour, or 25 minutes. What else are we going to talk about? We've done the talking about the different issues of getting over here.
I don't know. You got any questions from people on YouTube?
Well, that's what I always throw it out there. Come on, throw some questions. I'm sure we can answer them. We have a few people here. We've got a few bright, brilliant people here that can answer questions, not just me. I'm just the guy that talks.
I'll count myself out of that one.
I'm just the guy that talks too much.
I'm with you, Bracey.
Yeah, and I'm only bright from Monday to Fridays.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that one. Soy made in Thailand has been sold by the group that owned that land. That's big news coming out of Pattaya. That's a very popular area. Yes, there was a Ladyboy bar up the end of that soy there. I went there a couple of times when the owner was having his birthday party, I believe was one of the times. Went there with Kev. But that whole block been sold. Was going up for sale. It looks like one of the big developers is probably going to come and snap up that block of land, put up a big condo or big shopping mall. As if we don't have enough shopping malls in Pattaya. But again, what's one more shopping mall? This is Thailand. We can have 7-Elevens on every corner. We can have shopping malls on every block. End of story. And of course, there'll be more than likely 7-Elevens in the shopping blocks, depending on who.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
What are those, like the Starbucks of Thailand?
7-Elevens. Well, don't worry, they've got a lot of Starbucks here as well in Thailand. I don't go to Starbucks. Why would you go to Starbucks? 120 baht for a coffee? Come on. Really, at least Amazon charge 65 baht. And of course, if you look for a 7-Eleven, you can get a damn good coffee, good iced coffee for 30 baht. End of story. Why would you go and pay 120 baht, in Starbucks when you can have just as good a coffee?
Nostalgia.
I see a lot of videos, including your own, Wazza, of people in Thailand, and everybody seems to congregate around 7-Eleven. Well, in America, at least the 7-Elevens I've been to, they're not very good. So you must have better 7-Elevens over there than we do here.
Well, Bolt did a good story on the 7-Elevens a couple of weeks ago, and sort of, explaining exactly why we have so many 7-Elevens. Definitely sort of check out his channel there, which is the Hey Kid, It's Dad. It's apostrophe S Dad. Hey Kid, It's Dad. You can drop your link down there, Bolt, in the chat, and otherwise I'll take it.
Yeah, let me get over to it.
But he did a great. Or just put the link to the video. Might be even better. But yeah, so he did a good story on why there is so many 7-Elevens. But I didn't even know that. I don't know a lot of shit about Thailand, to tell you the truth. I make it up as I go along. I have a question, but I missed the start. Maybe you already talked about it. How will the restaurants allowed to sell alcohol, but bars not allowed, officially affect things short term? I've really no idea. As we walked down the street from Soy 11 down to the MRT last night, what about all those bars we passed? They were obvious bars on Sukhumvit there, like in public, and I think two of the bars, you actually saw people drinking out of bottles of alcohol. They weren't even disguising it with paper cups. It's a bit of a mystery how they're going to deal with that sort of stuff. But again, right now, if you've got a restaurant license, as from Monday, you'll legally be allowed to sell alcohol. Actually, I think from Sunday night. I think the rules are being overlooked, and I think the curfew finishes on the 31st, I think, for Halloween or something like that. So they're turning the rules off for restaurants to be. There's no what do you call it? There's no curfew in the blue zones from the 31st or the evening of the 31st, right through to the Monday morning, and those rules also affect the restaurants as well, so they can serve alcohol from the 31st. But yeah, bars, they're either going to have to relicense themselves, or continue with the paper cup bullshit. But I believe they're not even allowed to open the doors. So the mafia, the mafia or the police random check systems, they're looking for shuttered. If they're not the shutters down, they'll be sort of finding them. Check-in bar sells food now. Okay, right. I'm not quite sure which one to check. Where's check-in bar? I don't know every bar. How many bars are there in bloody Bangkok? God, give me a break. Does Susie's bar cater for groups? I'm thinking out loud. Well, what we were doing before we had the issue start, 2019, I would message Susie and give her an idea how many people were coming. But again, I was making those numbers up, so people would say they were coming and not turn up. People would say they weren't. People then didn't say, because again, I'm posting messages on Facebook and to our Line group, and whether people respond to a message they don't see on Facebook, because Facebook is so random. Only 10% of your following audience will probably ever see a message you post. And Line, and again, you've got to be plugged into Line, and on Line groups you tend to turn the alarm off, because the fact that Line groups just bing, bing, bing every 5 seconds. I've got my Line groups turned off, and that's always going off. So
Wazza, tell me about Susie's bar. You keep talking about it. Is it like a famous bar, a special bar, or something?
Oh,
it
is
is
the bar.
It is
the
the
bar.
It is the bar. The story goes like this, and I have told the story on video a few times. I think it was 2018. We were talking about doing a meetup style get together in a bar in Bangkok every couple of weeks. So I visited probably 10 fairly popular spots. There was caveats, like they had to be close to transport, so like close to a BTS, within sort of 500 yards of a BTS was one of the caveats, so that it wasn't too far to walk. Had to be sort of something that had a reputation, and had to have food and just something you can really have space was the thing that I was looking for. So I dropped into about probably 10 of them around that area. There was things like there was Hooters on Soy 15. That had a nice space, but and it's got the Hooters girls, but really no atmosphere to have a gang of people. One of them was the Australia bar up on Soy 11, but that's too far to walk. Most people say, well, that's bloody, that's a tuk-tuk or a motorcycle ride, from Anana Station or from ASOC. So, it was just too far away. We went to the Kiwi bar, walked in there. They had great food, but no personality. Nobody sort of, happy to see her. The staff are just paid staff, if you know what I mean. Who's got the heavy breathing there?
Sorry.
It's you. Okay.
Oggy's visiting the hot dog
Oggy's
restaurant.
still searching the hot dog.
Yes, that was basically the story. Like the Margarita bar, again, great food, great place to have a group of people, but again, there was no atmosphere. The bar staff are paid staff. Then we went to Susie's, and I was invited to Susie's from a guy that used to come here quite often at Bangkok, but he actually lives in Hanoi, right? So he's an Aussie expat living and working in Vietnam, and he used to sort of fly across to Bangkok probably every sort of 3 or 4 months, and that was his local hangout. It had an Australian theme, the Down Under bar. So that was how it started. We went there, met up with him, and we had this lovely lass, Susie, comes up and said, "What can we do for you?" So she's the owner of the bar, serving you and making you feel welcome.
So sorry, mate, just to interrupt. Is Susie Australian?
No, she's Thai.
Oh,
okay. So we had that, and of course she had some, I think Anne was working there at the time. Anne was a really absolute stunner, she was, eye candy. And of course we had Chanya there, who's like, Susie's best friend. Like Sonia's been there forever. She's part of the furniture, as far as I know. So Susie's got a daughter. Just trying to remember what the daughter's name is now. She's going to kill me. I forgot the name. I remember the names where I said little Susie. Get the idea. So you had all these lovely girls there. They're not working girls. They're bar staff that are part of Susie's family. So you had this, Australia retreat, Australia paraphernalia. You just felt great. That wasn't the reason. The reason was the fact that we went back there 4 weeks later, and Susie remembered our names. What bar could I say you've been into and you walk back 4 weeks later and they remember your names? Nothing here. Yeah.
The last one I got arrested in, I think.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and so we were made to feel welcome there. Of course, recently I bumped into the owner of the Kiwi bar. I actually met him outside Susie Wong's in Cowboy, and he said, now that of course, I think that was back then, it was last year. I only had sort of 5,000 subscribers. He knew about my channel, and he says, "Why didn't you come to my bar?" And I said, "Well, I did go to your bar, right? Didn't feel welcome. You had great food, but your staff are just staff. They're paid staff. They're not paid to entertain and be part of the family and build family. They're just people that come in, they earn a wage, and they're out of there. They've got no apart from their paycheck, there's no reason for them to stay. And he said, well, we'll try to fix that. But, you're quite welcome now that you've got food. He didn't say it, but he was sort of like, you're quite welcome to come and do an expose in my bar now that you've got 5,000 subscribers. Well, now I've got 8,500 subscribers. Well, he probably wants me to go there more. But, look, he seems like a nice enough bloke, and we might, in the Bangkok Insider series, we may do a few more bar visits. I want to do that, presentation of not the bar girl sort of angle, but the bar location, the bar staff, and if they want to work up and sort of build their personalities around the fact that we're here for you to hang out. This is a theme, a New Zealander theme. I don't know. No, New Zealanders allowed out of the country at the moment. I don't know. Can the New Zealanders come back to Thailand yet? I'm a bit out of touch with that, so I don't really know. But yeah, that was basically the caveats. We just had to look for somewhere that was near location. Another one that was possible was the saxophone bar, which is just underneath the Victory Monument Station, or very close to Victory Monument Station. I felt very comfortable there, but then of course you're going to have to sort of have your conversations over the blues music which plays at night. If you're going to go to the saxophone bar, you're going for the music. You're not going to have a meet-up. So that was scratched from the list. But if you are here, I've done a video from the saxophone bar. I think I did a live stream from the saxophone bar at one stage. Nice place to hang out. But again, it just was one of those things.
Oggie's fallen asleep there, mate. Look.
Is he?
Prod him. Wake up, mate.
Poke. So
which box?
Which box? So I could do the Mexican the wave to Todd there, but then he'd have to carry on and do this.
No. Oggie's that side. Hang on. I have to go that way.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, cut a long story short. Yeah, that's how we met Susie, and we've done everything to support her along the way. In return, we are guests when she likes to make us, make us food and all that sort of stuff, and do all the extra bits and pieces that go along. We've helped build her clientele through the channel because people now know the bar exists, and she appreciates the patronage that we send her way. It's like, she scratches our back, we scratch hers. There's no money exchange. It's just good times for everybody. Whereas, I suppose, other channels may sort of say, well, you pay me and I'll promote your bar. Well, I'm not into that shit, If I think you're good, then you'll get a mention, If I don't like the place, you won't.
So when we're all in Thailand together, hopefully at some point, all of us on the screen here will be in Thailand together. Susie's might be a good place to go down and hang out, right?
Well, that's what we'll do.
It will be the only place.
We'll call it. There'll be other places
Soy
as well.
on? What? What soy is she on?
Jep Tak Nung. Jep Tak Tak Tak. Jep Tak Nung. 7/1 on Sukhumvit.
Mm-hmm.
Just get your running shoes on for that first little.
Yeah, you got to run the gauntlet. There's 3 massage parlours at the head of the street there.
And how far down the road is it? I don't remember.
2/3 of the way down.
Place.
It's just across from the Magic Table. Sits next to the across from the Wood Bar. There's the Chrome Bar on one side, and I can't remember the other one's just called a bar or something on the other side. So. It's easy to find. If you go down the street view, you'll find it anyway. It's pretty easy to find.
Yep.
But yes, so most of the time we go there. It won't always be at Susie's place. We have gone to the Robin Hood on occasions, like on a Friday afternoon when we go to meet up. The meet up, we might just say, let's go to Robin Hood bar today. But more and more people are gravitating to go to Susie's because again, it's the atmosphere and just we all love Susie now, and that's part of it, isn't it? It's like what was that American series, Cheers? How did the jingle go?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't remember the words for the tune for Cheers anymore. Who can sing that one? Oggy, come on.
What?
Where everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
Isn't that it?
yeah,
That's it.
cheers, yeah. That's the sort of atmosphere it does conjure up and build. So we do call it. If they get a majority rule and they go to Susie's, we'll go to Susie's. But the Robin Hood is pretty good. I don't mind the Robin Hood. Their food is expensive, but the beer's the average price, and it is air conditioned, as opposed to Susie's place, which is open air. Open air at the moment is you can have more people in open air than you can inside. So that's another plus in these tough times. So
Good for us smokers as well, being open air. So.
yeah, and Susie does
Robin
make her
Hood's
own.
a little high, so.
Yeah, Susie does cook most of her own food. I think when she got the somtam last night, she got one of the girls to run down the road for this little special place down the road that did the somtam. So she brought that back for us. But yeah, this is what Susie's is like. It's just the way it is. We love Susie.
First time I was there, the food was a surprise. It was almost like being at her house.
Yeah, and that's again, no other bar really does that in Thailand. So, well, not that I've come across, at least. I'm sure there are that have modelled on that idea, but you can't visit every bar.
Well, you should put a link up to a bar on your website or on YouTube or something.
Oh, well, she's got a Facebook page. Let me see if I can find that quickly.
Put a link to it at the bottom of the video, if you don't mind.
The Down Under Bar. There we go. Search for the Down Under Bar. Control C. We drop that into the chat there. There we go. Put that in there. I think she's only got that as the only real public persona area, but as I said, if you're following me on Facebook, and we'll give you pretty much notice, or here on Discord, you'll get to know things. And again, people have got to learn how Discord works. There is a notification system in Discord that you can leverage, and if we're doing anything, I usually sort of put it out to everybody. If we want everybody on the channel to get a notice, which then bings you if you've got the app on your phone. Unless of course you turn the bings off, then that's up to you. You are very much in control of how Discord gets in your face. There are things. It's a discovery. I'm not going to go. I'm not teaching it in Discord today. Anyway, we are getting pretty close to the end of the story. Any last questions from anybody? The last time she brought a finger food for the house. Yes. Stephen Monash, the only way to the. Okay, right. Yeah, anyway, Stephen, why didn't you come on to say hello? You probably thought there was too many people to talk. Well, slacker.
Stephen's shy.
Yeah, I know. You'll come on after the show finishes. That's the thing. Anyway, so I got to get the cue the symbols to get the closing screen. Okay, we are there.
I'm gonna head out myself. I'm getting the stink eye. She's hungry.
Yeah, I wanted to check what time we're riding tomorrow. What time we're going tomorrow? I'll tell the group.
Let's see. I'll probably leave here when probably around 1 o'clock. I'll leave here, head over towards you.
Okay, so where do you want to meet? The PT station or?
No, I'll since the ride's gonna start close to you, I'll meet you close to Rye King.
Okay, well you'll pick a place. So we'll catch up with you later. I was going to message the other riding group to see if they wanted to join us. So let's say the PT service station where we met first time. Okay, so we're doing a ride for 2 o'clock. If it's not raining, 2 o'clock.
2, either one works fine.
Let's do 2 o'clock. It's a bit later in the afternoon, not so hot. So I'll tell them 2 o'clock for the ride tomorrow. Okay, so we've got our headphone gear between two people, so we'll have a conversation. We'll broadcast to Discord, and we'll probably do a cut up for everybody else for a later show. Okay, let's get out of here. Cue the music, as Stephen would say. There's Bob's channel. Hit your like, subscribe, or you are subscribers. You can't chat if you're not subscribed, can you? And we'll get out of here. Peace out, guys, and see you next week. Bye for now.
All right, take care, everyone. See you later, guys.